Welcome to the Board of Advisors Q2 2026 conference, and this is another episode of Hugo and the Boss. The boss today is Ryan Higgins with Wakit Rakit. So many ways for me to butcher that, and I don't think I did. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
And also, this is a treat. This is Ryan's first Board of Advisors conference. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's go before Wakit Rakit, because you have an interesting story.
Yeah, so actually, how I came to Board of Advisors was Mike recognized me from several careers ago, many moons ago. So once upon a time, I was an information marketer. And so the theme of my career has been spotting trends early. Okay. And so I spotted the trend of information marketing very early. I believe I was the 7th person ever to put together a $1 million launch for an information product. And we did that in 2008 or 9, I believe. And that got me, that was my very first online product. And I saw information marketing, built a course around that. And that was a fun moment. I'm sitting in my bedroom in Bondi Beach in Australia, and I put something online and make a little video and go down the pub and have a beer. And I come home and I've made 3 $27 sales. And I'm like, oh, I'm hooked. This is it. So I was into information marketing then. And then it went really well. And I went and studied under Frank Kern, moved to San Diego and learned from him. And he helped me, mentored me, and got through. By the end of the first year of the business, my business partner and I, we had done a $1 million launch with that product, and that was in the law of attraction world. It was called Mind Movies. Okay. And so anyway, I'm on a cruise, completely unrelated. I've been retired for over a decade at this point. I haven't done anything, and Mike from across the bar on this cruise, he's like, wait a minute, are you the Mind Movies guy? I remember you. And so, we had a fun conversation. We had a couple of dinners together, and I found out what he was doing with Board of Advisors, and it was really fun. And it was also really good timing for me. We can get to that maybe a little bit later. So that's how I found myself at Board of Advisors. But I went through that process of the information marketing, had a really good turn with that, had a really good exit out of there and was basically taken care of. But now I had a whole chunk of money. I need to learn how to invest. Correct. So I got in the investing game and did very, very well in that. To sort of continue the theme of spotting the trends early, I got into Bitcoin as early as 2012. My first Bitcoin I bought for $10. Continued to buy throughout 2013, and dovetailing my skills with this new emerging thing, I created an information product around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So that was really cool and just perfect timing for that. And so that business grew really, really well. And my hodlings grew very well. For those of you familiar with the industry, you'll know what that term means. And then so that was really good. And so by this time, I'm out of the race right now. And I wasn't really doing anything. And I was kind of living it up as in retired life for a while. Sure. I did that for about 10 years. And then it got a little bit old. So I was just kind of paying attention. I just love business. Every time I meet a business person, it's, what do you do? Tell me about. And I just, if you're not shy, I'm asking really, inappropriate questions. Really, it's like all of the different metrics. That's what I want to know about, and I want to know your business. So I'm just constantly paying attention to businesses. And I kind of knew for probably the last 5 years of that 10 years, I was like, I'm probably going to get back into something at some point. But I wasn't rushing, paying attention, just learning about lots of different businesses in lots of different worlds, and dabbling here and there. Before something really, really grabbed me, which is maybe what you're going to ask about next. Sounds more like a sabbatical than a retirement, really. Yeah, and it was. It was just, I didn't need to, and I had a young family, so it was great to be around and be a dad and spend time with the kids as they grew up, and so that was really, really fun. But now they're a little bit older, and I'm a little bit better dad, so I could be a good dad with a little bit less time and more time dedicated towards the business. And so it was, if I could have designed my life, I don't think I could have designed it any better. I had this information marketing business in my 20s and 30s. I got to travel the world, live with my laptop and see the whole world and do everything a young person could possibly want to do. Sure. Then I got to spend time with grow a family and do all that kind of thing, and that was great. And then now I find myself here a little bit later, and the kids are just growing up, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And start looking for a new business. Fantastic. So tell us, everybody, we're all hanging at the edge of our seats. What is that new business? What is this? And actually, more importantly, because you went on sabbatical, as far as I'm concerned, you weren't retired. You went on sabbatical to figure out the next thing, because you said your trends. Yeah. So what was the trend? What was the next thing? Well, it wasn't, in order to drag me out of retirement, it wasn't, I didn't just need a trend, because I've seen several different trends, but a lot of things needed to line up. But This particular trend, there was two things coincided at one time. So I went back to Australia, which I do every year. I live in Florida now, but I went back to Australia and visiting my friends. And this particular trip, I'm going back about a year, a little over a year now. And all of my friends are like, paddle. Have you heard of paddle? This new sport, paddle. And they know I'm an athlete and I love to play all kinds of sports. And my frustration is that I've got all this time and no one to play sports with because everyone's at work. So any kind of sport, I will play sport. And so I'm like, no, I haven't even heard of it. What are you talking about? And it's this obsession that's taken all of my friends and taken over. I later find out it's an obsession that's taken over the whole world, but I didn't know that yet.
Right.
For the moment, all I'm doing is I'm just going to go along and play this new racket sport that I've never heard of, never seen before, but my friends are all obsessed with it and I'm just going to play it. And they make me download the app and I book my own court and I get there and I play the sport and I enjoy the sport and I love the sport and it's highly addictive and this is great. This is cool. But the business mind is every time I walk into a business, all I care about is the business, right? What's going on here? And there's this place, I think it had about 11 courts.
Okay.
And I had to book this thing 3 days earlier because the courts are booked out for days on end.
This is back in Australia.
This is back in Australia,
Gotcha.
Right? And this thing is just, I know how much I paid. And there's 11 courts around and they're booked out for hours and hours and hours. In order to get we got to book it at 3 p.m. because you got to book a week out for anything later than that. And so, you got to, I'm like, this is crazy and how much money they're making. I know they're printing money. And then I get to the venue and I play the sport and it's great. And I look around and there's one employee there, a 15-year-old girl sitting in the pro shop. Wow. Now, my biggest gripe with businesses is the staff. Like because I grew a business to where I had like 12, 13, 14 employees. And at some point I was like, got rid of them all. And I was making just as much money by myself as I just felt like an adult daycare center. Now, we can put that on me. I got deficient in a whole bunch of skills for leading, managing, hiring, you name it. I'll take responsibility for it. But nonetheless, I know what lane I should be in. Right. And so I don't really pay particular attention to businesses that require a lot of staff or many staff at all. And I equated this thing. This is just a big, giant vending machine. There's this big building. There's 11 courts in it. They're all full of people. Obviously, it's got to grow a business. It takes some work to get there. But once you get there, you've got this business that is just a big, giant vending machine. People download an app, put in their mate. They're so addicted to the sport. They book the courts days out. They show up, and there's a girl there just in case they want to buy some balls or buy a drink or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, I can deal with a 15-year-old girl. A couple of them on part-time. Okay, I can deal with that. That's easily replaceable. I'm not trying to hire C-suite people or whatever. I can live with this. So now paddle's on the radar. And I'm like, this could be a business that I'm very, very interested in. I love sports. It's a trend. Problem is I've never heard of it, right? Why is it? I live in America. Okay, it's cool in Australia. What's going on here? And then tying this into another little thing that's happened to me in my life, I moved to America and I've done very well here and it's fine. But I've also had a bunch of friends who have come across and visited me or just come across to America for various other reasons. And they see something in America and they take it back home. It's happened a lot of times to a lot of different businesses because it's America. It's just the biggest market, the sexiest market. It's the most innovative market, the most capitalist market. You do a lot of innovation and people come here, they take ideas, they take it back to their country where it's not there and they make money. Very, very normal life cycle. And I'm like, hang on a minute. This is a chance for me to reverse that. I'm picking up something for the rest of the world and bringing it back here. So that was another little key component to this. But now paddle's on my radar because this is just a big giant vending machine is what I'm thinking in my head. I don't think it is that now with my benefit of wisdom, but I've at the moment that's what it was.
It appeared to be that way.
That's what it appeared to be at the moment. Okay, that's cool. So we've got this. I got this paddle trend, and I just start making a few calls, and it's like calling around. It's like, well, it's not really developed in America yet. There's no one really to work with. There's no industry here yet. And I'm going back like a year and a half now at this point. It's a bit thin. But so I let the idea sleep as I do many ideas, and that's fine. And then 3 months later, I'm listening to a podcast, and it's got a big VC guy on there, and he's just talking about the 5 biggest trends that he's noticing in America. And he happens to be living out of New York, and he's like, my number one trend for 2026 by far, it's not even close, is the sport of paddle. I'm like, hey, here we go. I know what that is. This guy's obviously knows what he's talking about. What's he talking about? He tells his story. He goes, in New York, everyone wants to join the paddle clubs. It's the new yacht club. It's the new golf club. It's where all the deals are getting signed. All the cool people want to be a member of the paddle club. We're all addicted to this sport, which was exactly my experience, although I left Australia and I didn't have anywhere to play. But anyway, you play and you get highly addicted. Unbelievably addictive game. And we're all comparing scores. And I'm like, okay, okay. So now I'm like, I got another point of reference, which is drawing me back into this world. And I pay attention to when the universe is telling me something. So the universe is definitely trying to tell me to get involved with paddle. So I'm like, all right, I'll put in another little bit of effort to this. And I start reaching around. This time I get connected to a very, very special person in the world of paddle.
Okay.
He's a young guy. He's now my business partner. His name's Tito. And his story is fascinating as well. So at the age of 13, when he was 13, his family bought a tennis club and they happened to have a paddle court in that tennis court. And so
there you go.
He learned paddle and got hooked on paddle and has been obsessed with the sport ever since. Now that's like 13 years ago. And he was basically a decade ahead of his time because America just wasn't there to catch the bug with paddle. But he's been in that world. So as a result of that, he's been in service of this industry for his whole life and beyond his whole adult life, his kid life as well.
Right.
He was on the junior American team, and then he was a junior American coach. And his goal is to represent America, in paddle at the Olympics. If paddle makes it to the Olympics in his playing lifetime, and he's a top tier player and all those kinds of things. But he's just a very, very special young man, and I just loved working with him. And that's one of the biggest, hardest things in Leicester is to find a great partner that you get on well with. And he and I just hit it off, and he just saw enormous value in me, and I saw an enormous value in him. So let's do this together, and we did. And that was just another one of the universe just pushing me into this sport.
Absolutely.
So I got really into the sport, and now I can bore you to death with all of the growth stats and everything, because that's obviously why I went and did all that research too, and that was amazing.
Interesting. Yeah. And again, it's the background that you had from running a business and growing it from scratch before you go in. So how long have you been doing this?
Okay. So what basically the goal, there's two parts of the market that we are in.
Right.
One is that we sell actual courts, and we sell courts and consult to people. And we're both in love with the sport, so we want to help the sport as much as possible. So anybody who wants to start a paddle club or put a paddle club in their country club or put a paddle court in their backyard or their local country club or whatever, we're the person to speak to. And we have relationships with all of the court manufacturers, and we can help them solve. We can basically solve all their problems. And we don't know. There's no one else who is like the one-stop shop. And I'm leaning heavily on my business partner Tito for that, because he's been doing this for 13 years. He basically knows.
Early adopter.
He's the early adopter. He's like the earliest adopter. He's like, everybody who's built a club has probably chatted to Tito. He knows their business and they know him, and he's just as good a resource as you will find. So that's one part of the business. We help people. We help people get the best product and the best courts and help them get started. That's one part of the business. But then the other side of the business is we want to be the largest paddle club operator in the country here in the next few years.
In the United States?
In the United States.
Gotcha.
That's right. And just let me, I'll take a little deviation here if I can. Just a little bit of background on this sport. So for whatever reason, just like the metric system, for whatever reason, the whole rest of the world was the metric system, and America does feet and inches. Okay, right. Cool. For whatever reason, tennis is kind of like just slowing down and dying a little bit. I'm sorry for the tennis lovers out there, but it's just kind of what's happening out there. Well, the problem that kind of tennis is having, in my opinion, is that in this, you need to take lessons for 6 months before you really start enjoying it. The problem that both pickleball and paddle solve is the very first time you jump on the court, you have fun. You immediately enjoy it, right? Gotcha. And and for whatever reason, to solve the problem of tennis that I claim to believe, whether other people agree with me or not, I'm not sure. But both pickle and paddle solve the same problem. And for whatever reason, America went in the direction of pickleball, and the rest of the world went in the direction of paddle. Right. And so the paddle is massive. It's huge all over Europe. It's huge all over South America. It's exploding in Asia and it's big in Australia. To give you an idea, Spain is the leader of paddle, right? They've got 20,000 courts just in little old Spain. America, obviously many, many times bigger and a much, much wealthier demographic. It only has 1,000 courts. They just recently passed 1,000 courts in the country. And it's really hit its inflection point and absolutely going vertical. So the anticipation is in the next 12 months, there'll be another 600 courts added. In the 12 months after that, there'll be another 1,000 courts added. And the year after that, it could just go completely vertical, and we might even hit somewhere 4,000 to 5,000 courts. And so just part of that growth trend, that's okay. I love, as a business person, I love swimming with the current. It's a get out of jail free card, right?
It's a great blue water outlook
Yeah.
in the United States.
Exactly. It's
Okay.
proven across the rest of the world,
Sure.
and I get to bring it here and be part of that. So the ultimate goal is to be the largest paddle club operator in the country, and we've come straight out of the gates with 2 clubs,
Okay.
and they're kind of 2 different demographics. So because there's such a because it's huge all over the world, a little bit of a shortcut code to having a club that's a hit quickly is to penetrate like one of the Latino markets. So the hubs right now are like New York, Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, places where there's lots of Latinos because the Latinos already know it. They're already watching it on TV and all those kinds of things, right? So in no particular order, but our first 2 clubs, one of them is in the Woodlands in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's also happens to be where Tito is from. And so
Of
he's got a lot
course.
of connections there. And so it's very, very useful for us to, it's a great club. And we're like literally one or 2 weeks old with that club. It's how long we've had it.
Wow.
So that club is brand new to us, and we're very, very excited to get up and running. And that's going to be like a little more, what would I say? A little bit more of a prestigious kind of a club. The other club, we're going a totally different angle because of that flavor with the Latino mix. What I really want to do is bring it to the rest of America and really want to penetrate, let's go to the Caucasian market. So the second location that we have is we found a great, it was a tennis club, right? And it was just not doing particularly well, a little bit undermanaged. And so we came in and we were able to secure that tennis club for a really good price.
Okay.
And so this is on the Space Coast of Florida, right? Which is like 2 minutes away from where the rockets take off.
Yep.
Yep.
Outside of Titusville, Florida.
Titusville, Florida. That's exactly where it is. And so we're going to introduce paddle to that club, and we've got the courts arriving in about a week there. And so I think that, I think we'll end up, what'll happen is because just so you know, the demographics of paddle, it just really, really lends itself to a young professional. Like I mentioned with, it's the new country club sort of vibe in New York and Miami.
Right.
And just the sponsorship tends to be like Rolex and Ferrari and Maserati. It's like it tends to be young, wealthy professionals. And so what I anticipate with Titusville is that SpaceX and Blue Origin and NASA and the whole space industry, I suspect, is going to end up becoming really, really falling in love with paddle. So that's where that kind of play lies. But that is us trying to figure out how. That's a different thing. In the Woodlands, Texas, it's like, hey guys, paddle's here. Like they all want to play paddle. Like they're addicted to it. That whole community is addicted to it. Over in Titusville, we have a totally different challenge. No one's heard of it. What the hell is paddle? They were like me a year and a half ago.
Right.
What the hell is paddle? I don't know this. But we got to figure out that marketing and figure out how to work with those people. And I think once we get those 2 pieces of the puzzle, they're very strategic positions, because once we get those 2 pieces of the puzzle, I think the opportunity to explode all over the country is going to be very, very simple. So we'll spend the next kind of 6 to 12 months really, really dialing those 2 in. I call it franchise-like. I think it probably will be a license model, maybe not a franchise model, or maybe a bit of corporate model. We'll get to that when we get to that. But the next 6 to 12 months is dialing everything in, documenting everything, and making it franchise-like so that we're ready to explode very, very quickly. And we've already got people lined up for our 3rd and 4th locations. So the growth part is not going to be the challenge. It's a matter of us dialing in operations ready for scale.
Got you. So you've got the processes for building site location, building, promoting, and marketing?
You know what? I'll talk about, I would say that's the one seat that I really would love to fill now. I'll go one step. I'll introduce another business partner that I have, a gentleman by the name of Scott Mitchell. Now, he's got 35 years of experience in running the largest tennis clubs in the country. So he's run massive organizations with scores and scores and scores of employees, and he's very, very used to running the operations of a club.
Sure.
So we've got him on board. He's been a phenomenal asset. And then I would say the one seat that I would really like to add at the founder level and the equity partner level is the marketing person who just runs that engine of just launch a club, go to a brand new city where no one's ever heard of it, and launch that club and get it up to massive numbers very, very quickly.
Sure.
So that's part of the reason I joined BA, was to find that person, and I've met some amazing people already. I'm confident that I will be filling that position fairly soon.
Okay, great. So you're asked when you came here, and you're looking for basically either a CMO or a fractional CMO.
Yeah, something like
Fantastic.
that. Exactly. And I think specifically, maybe they even come from the franchise world, or certainly something where they are used to opening up in new locations. That's the secret sauce. Because even if you're like, let's say you've opened up like HVAC companies in different cities.
Right.
and you go to a different city, and there's like there's already thousands of people searching for HVAC. They know what HVAC is. That's a different level of. But if you've gone and like I was chatting to one gentleman who was involved in the axe throwing franchise,
right?
Well, no one's searching for axe throwing, right? It's like
exactly.
Orange Theory, gym's a little less so, but all of these kinds of things was like, I don't know how to run. No one in that city is looking for that thing, but you're bringing it to them. You've got to educate them, get them to try it. I have absolute faith that they'll fall in love with the sport. But we just got to get them in quickly when no one's really asking for it. That skill set is what I'm looking for in my CMO or fractional CMO, or preferably what will become a business partner and help me launch these clubs rapidly across the country.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we could be doing this for a while with your enthusiasm and everything. I don't doubt that everyone's going to know about paddle, even this Latino tennis lover who didn't know what paddle was until we came here. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for attending just another session of Hugo and the Boss here at the Q2 Board of Advisors Conference. Thank you.